this is an additional note to one of my videos, because I said I would get into John 20, but I didn't get the chance to. This is an addendum to my response to Osama Abdallah on the death of Jesus. That's essentially what this video is. In the previous video, I already made it clear that Osama's point about Jesus being buried in a tomb was moot, because he tried to say that Jesus was not buried underground. Well, so what? I agree he was not buried underground, but that's a moot point, because I don't believe I've ever met any Christian who said Jesus was buried underground. He was buried in a tomb. I'm sure all Christians are aware of this, if they're somewhat educated in the faith, amongst other things. John chapter 19, verse 28 to 30 says the following. After this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, and said to fulfill the scripture, I thirst. A jar full of sour wine stood there, so they put a sponge full of the sour wine on a hyssop branch and held it to his mouth. When Jesus received the sour wine, he said, It is finished. And he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. So the very gospel already makes it clear that Jesus died. One of Osama's points he made in John 20:19 to 29, he said that in the video description that Jesus showed his original body to the disciples and they checked it. And we've already established that Jesus died according to the Gospels, and that medicine was not used on Jesus in any way, shape or form. Now the question is, why were the disciples shown the body? And why were they asked to touch the body of Jesus? Reason being, Jesus was simply saying, well, I'm alive, I've risen from the dead. If you don't believe me, just feel the marks. Feel my marks. And don't disbelieve. And yet Osama wants us to think that Jesus was in a cave recovering, or in the tomb recovering, and using spices and stuff. But it's just ridiculous, when the context of the gospel in the very previous chapter shows Jesus died. So in chapter 20, we know why Jesus asked the disciples to feel him, to show that he was alive and had risen from the dead, not to show that he had survived the crucifixion. That's a ridiculous canard. And of course, so is Shadid Lewis's claim that Jesus had healing herbs used on him. And again, I've brought this up in a previous video, but I just find it somewhat hilarious. So both Osama and Shadid believe Jesus was given medicine or healing herbs to some degree. Osama for the medicine and Shadid for the healing herbs. Well, either way, the very Gospels they appeal to debunk both of them. So either way, they're stuck with the fact that Jesus died according to the New Testament. Osama's stuck with it, Shadid is stuck with it. Hope this has been a help. Thanks for watching.